Sean, how's the wet sanding going today? You can't hear.
What?
How's the wet sanding going today?
Oh, it's going great. Just out here enjoying myself in the sun and the wind.
The sun and the wind?
Yeah.
Too bad. So this side of the car is done. This side of the roof is done. Well, 3/4 of the roof. So this back section.
But look at that.
We'll be ready to spray.
Look at that.
And this thing's gonna be. Is it straight?
There's not even any puddles anywhere.
There's no puddles, which
No.
means that it's straight.
Yeah.
I mean, that does look nice with the water on it. Just looks like a nice straight roof. So I'll just need to do this back and then do that, and we'll have ourselves an Evo white.
Yeah.
It is paint day. So the past week, it is Friday currently. All week we have been wet sanding on this thing, or I should say Sean has been wet sanding on this thing. Been prepping it, we seam sealed some stuff, we did some stuff on the inside. Door jambs and everything are all sanded. This whole car has been completely wet sanded. It's kind of crazy because when you look at it from this angle, it looks shiny because it's so flat
320, buddy.
and smooth. We have the doors that are all wet sanded, ready to go. The only thing we need to do is scuff this stuff right here because we are going to be painting the top of these things black. It's kind of a weird combination. I think on part of it was like a sticker on the Evo door. Was the Evo door a sticker? Evo door is not a sticker.
No,
so look at this.
The Evo door is
So
like
the-
a paint.
No, so the Evo door, this is the Evo door, is a sticker, and this door right here
No.
is paint.
No.
Because this is the silver door off of the Lancer.
But look. I don't think that's paint.
I think it's like a thick paint.
I think it's like a vinyl probably.
Whatever it is, we need to scuff it so that way we could paint it. Moving all this stuff around, it got a little bit scuffed, and also with doing the rear wagon doors, doing the wide body welding and stuff on that, the back doors were actually kind of a sticker too. So we need to paint all this stuff, and instead of trying to figure out a sticker or if it was a sticker, we're just gonna paint it gloss black, and then we're gonna paint the rest of everything else with the white, obviously. Front fenders still need a little bit of work, so we are not painting the front fenders today, and I'm honestly not sure if we're gonna be able to get to the doors or not, just because of the booth and the amount of space that's in there. We considered painting here in the shop, because I've got some pretty good paint jobs out here. I painted the Supra in here, I painted the Civic, painted my drift car.
You cleaned it out.
I've painted all kinds of stuff in here before. And one of the reasons I thought about doing that is just so we could paint everything at once. Because kind of how we have the doors hung up over here, we literally paint all the doors on the lift, paint the car over here, and then put like the bumpers right here, and then the rear hatch like hanging from that lift. And we could have almost everything sprayed at once, versus in the paint booth, you kind of have to go back and forth. And you know, you could pull a car in there in like 2 doors, and then you have to pull 2 more doors in and the bumpers, and you just end up painting over a couple days instead of painting all at once.
Yeah.
So again, we still need to do some stuff with the fenders and the rear bumper, front bumper, but we'll probably end up doing all that stuff together. So the goal for today is to at least get the body in paint. I like painting stuff like this just because you don't get any tape lines. So it's kind of like OEM, especially with how far we have taken this car down. Typically what you can do is you could paint like the door jambs. You could paint the door jambs on the doors, put the doors on the car, and then mask everything, you know, mask the door jam, back mask them so you don't get as hard of a tape line, and then you paint the whole car at once. And that's what a lot of people do when they're doing like metallics and stuff like that. And since this is a tri-stage, I'm just gonna have to act like I'm a robot and just make sure that I remember all the settings on the gun, that it's set up the correct way, and that I do pretty much the exact amount of coats, so that way we don't get any differences in the pearl or the color, because you know, adding an extra half of a layer of paint to it or of the pearl could change the complete way that it looks. That's why I kind of wanted to do the doors at the same time, because if I'm painting a certain way on here, I just move over there, paint the same way, versus going back in, you know, like a couple days later. So still need to do side skirts. There's just a mountain of stuff, and honestly, like this, it's been so long, or this project is taking a lot longer than I thought. I thought this whole thing was gonna be start to finish in like 2 months, and we've had the quarter panels on there for a month, and we're finally at this stage. And literally Sean's been out here every single day working on this thing, so it's not like we're slacking on it. And honestly, if Sean was not here, it would be another Supra situation where this is probably a project that would have taken me a little bit over a year to complete if it was just me doing it. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to do, we got a lot of stuff to paint, but I'm stoked for this thing. Now we're basically gonna start masking this thing, and then we're gonna decide if we're gonna pull it over to the paint booth and paint it in there, or if we're just gonna say, Bart'll do, and paint the whole thing over here. So we got some stuff to figure out, but enjoy the time lapse of masking it, and then in that time I'm gonna make a decision, hopefully. All right, guys, so it is the next day and I am finally starting to paint this thing. It's like 3:45 in the afternoon. Blake came over this morning and helped me mask this thing. Been here since 10 o'clock, kind of prepping everything just to try to get it ready to go. And man, just paint. If you think it's gonna take you an hour, it's literally gonna take you 10. Got it all masked up. It is all wiped off, ready to go. The shop is all clean. Yesterday, I actually used the leaf blower and blew everything off of all the shelves, all that stuff to get kind of the layer of dust that was on everything. Wet the floor already, cleaned everything. We've wiped everything down. Threw some adhesion promoter on this rear bumper. Interesting thing, I have to paint this rear like diffuser part. I'm painting that black, and then the top pieces of the doors right here, I'm painting those black as well. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is hit everything with the 2K sealer, which will help fill in a little bit of the scratches since we did kind of finish sand this thing in 320 grit. So that'll fill some of those scratches, put a nice uniform coat of white all over the car. And then what I'm gonna go ahead and do, come back and mask this and hit this with black. I'm gonna go ahead and mask the black, and then paint all the white coats and everything with the pearl. And then I'll come back and I'll unmask this, and then I'll clear coat everything together. So everything will be all, you know, will be all nice and shiny. Tied in together, I have the wing right here. I have the door handles right here. I have the gas door over here. Probably gonna cover up the welders with some masking as well. Man, we have, there's so much stuff to paint. So yesterday I was only going to paint the car, but I decided that it was gonna take me a long time to paint the doors and all that stuff anyhow. So I might as well go ahead and just work on everything yesterday when everybody was here, all the guys were here. And now today is paint day. Tack cloth, tack it off real quick, throw some paint in the gun, and see how this thing, or throw some sealer in the gun, see how this thing turns out. So pretty stoked. It's been a long time coming, but it's gonna look good when it's all done. All right, guys, so it is in. I did sealer, 2 coats of sealer, 2 coats of base coat, and 2.5 coats of this pearl, this green pearl, blue pearl, whatever you want to call it. But look at that. I don't know if you guys could actually see that or not, but it looks sick. So, as tired as I am, you guys probably wouldn't believe that I'm stoked, but I'm kind of stoked because it seems like it's turning out really good. I had one issue right here where the tape peeled. So this is the back where I did all this stuff black for like the little rear diffuser thing. So you can see the tape just kind of came up right there. I wasn't paying attention and shot a little bit of white and then a little bit of the pearl in there as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and I just taped off just this section right here. I'm gonna load a little bit more black paint in the gun and just kind of dust it just a little bit to get that that little white stuff to go away. But other than that, it's looking really good. The roof is really hard to do just because I'm kind of short. We ended up lowering the car on jack stand so I could even reach it, and it's honestly even hard how it is right now. So I hope that turns out okay, that turns out nice and even. But with this pearl, I think we should be okay with it. It's not like a crazy metallic where it does a bunch of different flops and stuff. It's just kind of, it's the pearl, but it's just the blue. So I think we could get away with a lot of stuff with it, which is good. Overall, I don't really see a bunch of dirt at all, which is crazy because the floor is pretty dry right now. I've had that fan going this whole time with the pressure washer hose just kind of running and blowing like a mist outside, just so I could almost tell what direction the wind and stuff is doing. And everything looks like it's turning out really clean in here. So pretty stoked about that. We'll load up some more paint, get this thing spritzed with black, and then after that is clear coat. So I started that last coat at like 7:15, and it is 8:15 right now. I spent the last like 15 minutes or so unmasking, doing some other stuff, cleaning the gun. So about 45 minutes per thing. That's a lot. It's a lot of time painting, which is, my shoulder hurts, and then I'm holding this like heavy camera. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten anything all day, so let's go. All right, guys, we are officially done painting. It is 10:50 at night, and this thing looks awesome. Super stoked on how it turned out. I think this is the best paint job I've ever done in the shop, other than, I don't know, honestly, I think even in the booth, there's really not a whole lot of dirt in it compared to what I typically get, even in like a paint booth or you know, like that stuff. Man, this roof was huge. I can't believe my arm right now. I should probably actually like set this damn camera down because it's the same arm I was using to paint with. But one of my favorite pieces of this whole puzzle is actually this back bumper. So you can really see the pearl in it right here, and then it goes to the gloss black. And I just think that the pearl white with the gloss black looks so clean. And I can't wait to get like the windows in here, tint them black. Same thing with the wheels. We have some gunmetal wheels from Koenig. And I think even painting these things black, gloss black like that, made it look a lot nicer. Because kind of from the factory, they're a little bit like matte-like. So we might end up having to paint like the weather stripping stuff on it. But man, it's painted. My arm hurts. I'm tired. Feel like I've been painting this thing all day, which I pretty much have. I think using the lift for doing the doors was a good idea. We got some bugs in it, which really sucks. So you can see there's that little spot right there. So we got a bug right here, 2 bugs on this door, a bug right here, and then the worst bug of them all was the one that ended up getting on the roof right there. So that thing got me. I picked as much out of it as I could with just a needle. If you're ever painting something, you get something in it. A needle's the best way. If you try to use pliers or your fingers, you're gonna make a mess, whereas the needle, you could kind of like scoop it up and then the paint just kind of flows back to where it was. So yeah, man, that was a lot. That was a lot of painting. I've already said that. I don't really know what I'm saying. Can't wait to get this thing put back together. I'm gonna show you guys some B-roll of this thing. I'm gonna go home and go to bed. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you in the next one.